Good morning, folks. How are you doing this fine day? Got a good show ready for you. We've got some major events happening in Europe. Forgive me while I arrange a few things. I'm running a little bit behind. We've had a major election in Europe, and it's a big deal, folks. It's time to dive into it and talk about what it means, how we got here, and what it means for us. So, without further ado, let's do this. Top of the morning to you, folks. I hope your coffee's as good as mine. I am really excited. It's time for the holiday season. Loving it. Loving it. This is my favorite time of year. Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday. I was sad to see it go. I mean, I love a good eating holiday. But it kicks off fall, and I love fall. I love the leaves changing. I love the temperature getting cold outside. I love it all. But man, this is a joyous time of year, and I am super, super excited to be here. We have a birthday in the audience. Happy birthday, Regina. Glad you could be here to celebrate your birthday with us. Everybody wish Regina a happy birthday. So we've had an interesting turn of events here. We had an election last week in the Netherlands. And I know you're probably saying to yourself, what the heck? What the heck does an election in the Netherlands have to do with me? Well, I'm here to explain that for you. It's actually kind of a big deal. We had an election in Argentina a few days ago, and the right wingers just lost their mind. They thought this was just represented the harbinger of doom for all of us woke lefties. And as I explained, that was ridiculous. It's just complete ridiculous. There were no parallels between what happened in Argentina and basically the rest of the Western world. This is Javier Milei. He got elected in Argentina. Yeah, good luck with that, Argentina. He was elected because they had 150% inflation, and he's just a ridiculous clown. He really is. And the people there are desperate, and the reforms are needed. This guy's not the answer, but when people are desperate, they will do desperate things. And that's how this guy ended up in power. This is not what we're talking about in the Netherlands. Oh man, I hope your coffee's as good as mine. I love that cup, don't you? I love that. By the way, the holiday cups are out. You got to check them out. I'll show you through a couple of them throughout the show. But we've had an election in the Netherlands, and does represent a problem for us. It does. The Netherlands have voted in a parliamentary election. It's a little bit different. I'll explain it. In a parliamentary election to bring their version of Donald Trump into power. And it's a problem, folks. I mean, it is a problem. It is as big a problem as if Donald Trump were elected here. It's a big deal. Their version of Donald Trump's is Geert Wilders, spelled Wilders, but they don't pronounce it Wilders. There's Wilders, Geert Wilders. He looks like it. He looks the part of a Donald Trump, doesn't he? He's the head of the Freedom Party. The Freedom Party is actually an older party in the Netherlands, but this is a significant problem, folks, because Geert Wilders and the Freedom Party have really gone off the rails to the right. They're not. I want you to think for an example that you can understand here in the United States of America. He's Marjorie Trader Green. That's who this guy is. He's Marjorie Trader Green, more so than Donald Trump. He is rabidly anti-immigrant. Um, he has no serious policies to put forward for the people of the Netherlands. Yes, Al Yorkie, great comment. He is another narcissist. He is. He is. He is. He's insane. He's insane. He really is. His party, the Party of Freedom, uh, has in their platform to force a vote, a binding vote on Nexit. Now they've moderated this over the next few years, and Nexit being Netherlands exit, similar to Brexit. As Brexit has turned out to be a disaster for England, they've somewhat moderated that a little bit, but the verbiage is still there in their platform to force a binding resolution on Nexit, and that's a problem, folks. That is a real problem. Among all their policy problems, that is one of the most major policy problems. See, Rotterdam is the largest port in Europe, and it is in the Netherlands, and it is now controlled by Geert Wilders, or will be when he forms a government. That's a big deal. That is a big deal because his views on trade are insane, and I'm going to use that word a lot today, but they are. Geert Wilders' views are, since they've modified their view of we're going to have a Nexit, which everybody in the Netherlands has seen what happened in Britain, and they're like, we don't want that. We don't want that. We want to stay in the European Union, but we want veto power over the European Union. They want to stay in the European Union, but they want to be able to tell the European Union what the European Union can and cannot do uh, from the Netherlands. Like I told you, people, insane, and people voted for this. They voted for this. Um, Wilders pledges to ban the Quran, to ban Muslim schools, to end immigration. I mean, is this all sounding familiar? This man is literally Marjorie Trader Green. I want you to think about what that means to politics in the European Union. He's vehemently anti-Ukraine. He is a pro-Putin guy. What this does to Europe's policies that align with us. How does this affect us? Think about that, folks. Think about our policies and what this means. But let's not put the cart ahead of the horse. He's got to form a government. Let's take a look at the elections results. I mean, he pulled in 38 out of 150 seats. And I know we don't do parliaments here, so let me explain how somebody that only pulled in 38 of 150 seats can end up running a government. If you're not familiar with parliaments, and I know you are because look at the audience I'm talking to. I mean, if you're here, you're obviously of above average intelligence. But I want to run through it anyways. In a parliamentary system, rarely does one party garner enough seats. And the way it works in the Netherlands is there's no gerrymandering there. There's nothing like you see here in the States. It's a national election, border to border. Everybody votes. And based on the number of votes each political party gets, you vote for a party, not a person, you vote for a party. Based on the number of votes each party gets, they divide up the number of seats in their parliament. There's 150 seats. The problem is the Netherlands has 17 parties. And I want to step off for just a second. You folks know me. You know who I am. You know I am the founder of the Ride or Die Democrats. You know what that means. That means we don't divide ourselves. Well, that doesn't work in a parliamentary system. In the Netherlands, there are 17 political parties. 17. And that is what has allowed us to end up in the position we're in. They're in, which is going to affect us. And I'll get to more of that in just a second. By winning 38 seats out of 150, Geert Wilders is going to be able to throw a monkey wrench in much of our political agenda. He is going to be able to hamstring, at best, the European Union's climate policies. He's vehemently he doesn't believe in climate change. He doesn't think that there should be any activities at all. He wants to repeal gas taxes. He's just all anti anything that deals with climate change. And that's what a Geert Wilders government would look like. So here's the question. How did this happen? Being able to only pull in 38 seats out of 150. Well, it happened because the liberals, and tell me this doesn't sound familiar, divided themselves. The Netherlands is full of single issue parties. Let me show you what I'm looking at. You have to forgive me, folks. I'm running just a little bit behind here. I've got a listing here. Let me just go to Wikipedia. It won't be the graphic, but you'll get the gist of what I'm talking about. Won't take but a second. Here we go. We're just going to bump through a few of these parties so that you can understand what we're looking at here and how we got here. Okay, we've got the results here. It's a little bit small to read, but I'm gonna run through them. The PVV, that's Political Party of Freedom. That's Geert Wilders. They're hard right wingers. The next party, uh, I believe he won 38 seats. The next party is the Green Left and Labor Party coalition. They won 25 seats. Then you have the VVD. That's the equivalent of the Republican Party here, but not MAGA. These people are the equivalent of anti-Trumpers. They're the people that you see in your social media talking about. Um, they don't agree with Trump. They don't like Trump. They don't, but we're Republican. We're Republican. We believe in Republican values. We're conservatives. We're the conservative. That's the VVD. That's the VVD. They're called liberal, but they're what passes for a conservative in the Netherlands. Then you have the New Social Contract, which is a party that's only like, it's like a week old. It's a brand new party. It's a spoiler party. Think no labels. Think no labels. They're anti-European Union. They don't believe that there should be any more advancement in the European Union at all. The Dutch should be Dutch. Period. Then you've got Democrat 66. They're liberals, but they've got their own, one single position, um, and they're their own wannabe emperors. So they split off the liberal vote. You got the BBB, which is the farmers, the hillbilly party. They are socially very, very conservative. They are economically very, very much in love with their farm subsidies and everything else. So think farmers here in the United States if they had their own political party. Yeah, that's another division. The CDA, the Christian Democratic Appeal, think Preacher Johnson here in the Republican Party. The SP, the Socialist Party. Enough said. You know what the socialists are. DINK is DENK. The DENK. They're again uh, highly liberal, highly focused on single issues of minority rights. They're a single issue voter party, basically. The FVD, the Forum for Democracy, they are skinheads. This is what I want you to see. You've got the Party for Animals, won 3 seats. The Party for Animals. Did we really need a separate political party in the, just dedicated for that? It's like if PETA had a political party here. Folks, this is cutting your nose off to spite your face. The Reform Political Party, the SGP, they're Calvinists. They're basically socially liberal. I mean, pardon me, socially conservative, but they want you to know that they are not, you know, they're not Catholic, basically. They're Calvinists. I could do a whole show on Calvinism, but just think socially conservative, but very liberal in their social policies as far as everybody should be taken care of, etc. Again, why we needed a faction for that, I don't know, but there it is. I mean, just you can go on and on. The Christian Union, same way. Volt. It's a political movement throughout Europe that they just have their own special niche again. And JA21, same thing. They just have their own special niches. This is how it happens, folks. This is why they're dividing us here in the United States. This is how MAGA here in the United States, Carta says I block maggots. Uh, um, great point. Wilders Party is MAGA. They are. And the reason we're talking about this here in the United States is they are absolutely 100% doing this here in the United States. They are 100%. Putin and everything that you see going on dividing us here in the United States is for this. This is how we get a Geert Wilders. This is how we ended up with Giorgia Meloni. If you remember correctly, in Italy, if this is Giorgia Meloni, I don't know if you remember what she looks like, so let me pop her up for you. Georgia Maloney. She's a out and out fascist. She is from the fascist party. She does not hide from that label, folks. She will tell you she is a fascist. It's how she was elected in Italy. Is division along the left and coalescing the racist, xenophobic right. Georgia Maloney, since she's taken office, uh, has doubled the number of what they call repatriation camps in Italy. They, we have camps here in the United States also to greet immigrants as they come in. Make sure that they have water. We have doctors there to make sure they're taken care of. Yada yada yada. They have these camps in Italy as well. They call them repatriation camps. She's doubled them because they changed the jail time for being an illegal immigrant from 90 days to 18 months. They're going to house these people in these camps now, not 3 months, 18 months to discourage immigration. Georgia Maloney's made a deal with Albania to start putting these camps in Albania. I mean, is this sounding familiar? This is why we're discussing this. Is this sounding familiar? Think back to the Trump days when they were putting babies in cages. This is what Geert Wilders' rise to power means. It means the crippling of everything that we've been working for with the EU. Now here's the question. Can he form a government? With his radical views, a lot of people like the VVD, they don't really want to be associated with Geert Wilders. They don't want to do it. But I believe they're going to, because they all have this same disease. And it's a disease we have here in the United States also. It's rampant in Europe right now. It is. The rise of the fascist right in Europe is terrifying. Is terrifying. Here's Geert Wilders with Marine Le Pen, another Putin-loving fascist. She's running again, folks. She'll be running in 2027. She'll be running again. And the way things are going, if we don't get our act together and get on this message, and this is why I really want to talk, and this is why it's so important. I know, I get it. I'm like, Paul, why are you talking to us about the Netherlands? Why? What does that mean to us? I mean, I know, I understand the American news consumer. I get it. It's not that big a deal, but it is a big deal, folks. It is a big deal. And we're doing it to ourselves. We are. We're doing it to ourselves. They're not winning because they have appeal. They're not winning because they can govern. Geert Wilders is going to fail utterly governing. He is. His policies will hurt the Netherlands. And in a few years, people will wake up. But in the meantime, he will help screw the world's economy. Folks, ports are important. Rotterdam is huge. It is two-thirds It is a third larger than our largest port here in the United States of America, and we are the largest economy in the world right now. Rotterdam is massive. The only other port in Europe that comes close to it is Antwerp. I mean, I cannot stress to you how big Rotterdam is. I mean, it's on par with China's ports. Put it that way. Put it that way. It is massive. And now we have an anti-trade and anti-European Union guy running it, who's going to run it. There are a lot of people speculating that he won't be able to form a coalition, but I'm telling you he will, because the anti-immigration thing works. It works. It works right here at home. It does. You can talk to your average Democrat and they will tell you, "Yeah, we need to fix that immigration." I mean, it's they don't understand. And this is what I want to stress to you. I want to stress to you. One, we have to be ride or die Democrats here. We do, or we're going to be screwed in this next election. We do. We can't allow ourselves to be divided. We just can't. We just can't allow ourselves to be divided. Let, let me show you some of what's going on here in the United States. And no, I'm not going to go off on a tangent about Gaza or the Middle East or any of that. I just want to use this as an example. It's the latest example of people saying, "Oh, I'm not going to vote. I'm going to turn America over to the fascists." Here we have Yashar Ali and Mehdi Hassan, two incredibly popular people on Twitter. Mehdi Hassan, you remember from MSNBC. Guy does brilliant work. He really does. He really does. He does some great work. I am not trashing the guy. I am trashing this point of view that they're propagating because it is blasphemy to me. Mehdi Hassan retweets a comment from one of his Arab friends here that says Arabs aren't going to vote for Biden. And Mehdi Hassan says, I've had the same conversations with all my Muslim friends and family members over Thanksgiving. Not a single one says they will vote for Biden again, having voted for him in 2020. Every single one did need to friends, but also my Arab Christian friends, along with their strongest allies. Now, let me, and again, I'm not trashing either one of these guys. I'm telling you, you should follow both of them on Twitter. You really should. You should follow. They're dead wrong on this. And let me explain to you how silly and stupid this point of view is that they're putting out there. Okay. To begin with, this is Yashar Ali. This is Yashar Ali. And again, give him a follow. Animal rights advocacy. He is right on a lot of things. He really is. He's had his controversies in his past, whatever. I enjoy his Twitter account, but on this, he is dead wrong. This is he goes by the name Yashar Ali. He's actually Yashar Ali Hedyat. He comes from a wealthy Iranian family. Yashar is not Arab. I want you to draw a Venn diagram between Gaza and the Palestinians and Yashar Ali here. One, Yashar Ali's family is Iranian. He is not Arab. He's Persian. Um, he's converted. He was Muslim, but he was Shia Muslim. They are Sunni Muslim in Gaza. That's like Protestants versus Catholics. Just think of it that way. Uh, it has to do with the lineage of who can be mullahs and etc. A whole nother show. But anyways, just think different factions. Okay, so we're drawing a Venn diagram between Yashar Ali and the people of Gaza. One, he's not Palestinian. He's Iranian. He's Persian, not Arab. Uh, he is converted to Roman Catholicism, which no, no overlap with Gaza. So basically, if you draw a Venn diagram with Yashar Ali and the people of Gaza, there's no overlap at all. In that conversation, we had Mehdi Hassan. Again, you've seen Mehdi Hassan on MSNBC. This guy does an incredible monologue. He can do a 3-minute monologue that is brilliant. He is. But let's draw a Venn diagram between Mehdi Hassan and Gaza. Keeping in mind, they're talking about how we're going to throw the election to fascists over Gaza. And again, I don't want to get into the Israeli-Palestinian thing. That's not what this is about. This is about voting. Mehdi Hassan is not Arab. He's not. I know a lot of people assume that because, well, they don't know shit. They see a brown person, and they see a name like Mehdi Hassan, and they think, oh, well, he must be Arab. He's not. He's Indian, born in England, graduated from Oxford, very well-educated man, Shia Muslim. He is Muslim. There's your bit of overlap right there between Mehdi Hassan and Palestinians in Gaza. Just that slight, because they're Sunni, not Shia. There's your overlap right there. They happen to be of different sects of the same religion. That's his tie to Gaza. Folks, that's like me saying, I don't like Joe Biden's policies toward Ireland, where my mother's from, or I don't like Joe Biden's policies towards Germany or Norway, where my father's family is from, and saying, screw it, I'm going to turn over the world's most powerful military. And again, let me clarify to you what I'm talking about. We spend more on our military than the next 26 countries combined, and 25 of them are our allies. Our military is an inevitable force if you cut it loose. And the fascists will. There will be no guardrails for our military. Think Russia. Think what Russia does in combat. And I know you're thinking, oh, well, they're good and decent people. No, our military follows orders, legal, lawful orders. They do. They do. That is the equivalent of me saying, you know what? I'm not going to vote. I don't like Joe Biden's policy towards Germany. I'm not going to do it. That's insane. I don't like Joe Biden's policy towards Norway. I don't like what's going on between Norway and Sweden, and this is actually more accurate. I don't like what's going on between Norway and Sweden, and I don't think Joe Biden is harsh enough on them Swedish people. So I'm going to just throw the election to fascists. No, no, that's blasphemy to me, people. That is blasphemy. I am a ride or die Democrat. We fight. We do. You never blackmail. Never. You want to lose my support for your cause immediately? You try to blackmail me with your vote. That does not fly. It never will. And that's what they're telling you. And folks, I want you to think back to those Venn diagrams. This has nothing to do with Gaza. Arabs here in the United States are not universally Palestinian. Egypt does not have a great relationship with Palestinians. They don't. So those Arabs you're talking about, yeah, they're Egyptian. The Lebanese Arabs don't have a great relationship with Palestinians. That's just true. It's not bias, it's not hatred or anything. It's just true. Those are the Arabs you're talking about here in the United States that are saying they're not going to vote. Syrians, Jordanians, these are the Arabs here in the United States, not just universally Palestinians, that are saying they're not going to vote. They're going to throw this election to fascists. They're going to put Trump back in office, is what they're saying. They're saying it out loud. If you go check out Yashar Ali, and he's got a massive Twitter following. If you see what they say, they're saying they're going to put Trump back in office over people their culture, their own countries, their own descendants don't really get along with. Is anybody seeing the insanity of this and understanding? Can anybody in the audience tell me what this is really about? What are they really blackmailing us for? Because they are telling us out loud. God, I love that cup. That cup is cute. That is cute. I love that cup. See the fact bats in there? Somebody getting fact bats for Christmas. I love that. So I've given you a minute there in the audience. You seem like you're scared to say it. I'm going to tell you the one thing that all of these people have in common isn't a love for Palestinians, because they don't. They show you they don't love Palestinians. Their own heritage, Egyptians, North Africans, Libyans, none of them embrace Palestinians. They don't. They just, it's just fact. It's not a matter of bias or anything like that. Check for yourself. Thank you, Courtney, for being brave enough to say it out loud. And they're saying it out loud. I am not making an assumption or a stretch here. They are telling us the reason they are not going to vote for Joe Biden is because he will not end Israel. Yeah, that's the blackmail. They want Joe Biden to end Israel. They say it in their own words. They're angry. I got an email today from a woman that just, I'll gladly read it to you because they do say it in their own words. It says, if you pledge your vote to the Democrats, how do you propose to end the inexorable slide of the party to the right? Okay, I'm okay. I'm with you on that so far. I have been pulling to the left as hard as I can. If you do not think Israel is an apartheid state, then you need to read some UN reports. I don't need to read UN reports. I really don't. I like the UN. I like any diplomatic body, but as far as the UNRWA and the rest of it's shit. It's complete shit. I don't need to read any UN reports. I don't. In order for me to support Israel, I would need to be able to complete the following sentence. Now, understand that. In order for me to support Israel, okay, the opposite of support Israel is oppose Israel. So she's telling you where she's at. I would need to be able to complete the following sentence. I know that they killed 7,000 children last month, but dot, 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 dot. I can think of nothing that satisfactorily finishes that sentence. Okay, so what are you calling for? Ending Israel. End all U.S. support for Israel and let the Arab countries in the neighborhood devour Israel. That's what she's calling for. That's the blackmail. Do that, or they will either stay home or vote for Trump. I have a response for that. I thought about it. I have thought about it, and I put together a, the most eloquent response I could think of to that blackmail demand. Fuck you. And I hope you're watching. I am not going to turn over the world's most deadly military to fucking fascists because you insist that I destroy the nation of Israel. Fuck you and the horse you rode in on. You don't give a shit about Palestinians. I have spent decades arguing for a two-state solution, which I do not argue for anymore because the Palestinians rejected it. The Palestinians are telling you to your face their only result they will accept is Israel is destroyed and Palestine becomes Israel. Israel becomes Palestine. Pardon me. Fuck you. I hope that was clear enough. So yeah, I like Yashar Ali on 90% of what he says. I like Mehdi Hassan on 90% of what he says. I think Mehdi Hassan is a brilliant orator. And I hope to see good work for him from the future. But as far as your blackmail is concerned, no. No. So, where does that leave us? Folks, you are brilliant people. Read the comments. I will be discussing a subject, and you people will be discussing it as I discuss it. You are aware of what's going on in the world. If you do not know that of 9 our audience is one of the most intelligent gatherings there is. So it falls to us. And thank you for all the hearts and skulls from my ride or die Democrats out there. I appreciate that. Just volunteering it. We got a job to do. We've got a job to do going into 2024. One, I'm sick of this Palestine shit. I'm sick of this Israel shit. I'm sick of talking about it. I don't want to talk about it anymore. I don't. There's no way forward until Hamas is dead. Period. And unless people are coming to me telling me that's what's going to happen, that's all I want to hear. I don't want to hear it. Hamas is dead. I don't want to talk about it anymore. But I do want to talk about Geert Wilders and what's going on in the European Union. I do want to talk about support for Ukraine. I do want to talk about Putin, who's behind all of this, and Iran that is behind all of this, trying to destabilize the United States of America and trying and succeeding amongst our own liberal group to get people to destroy our own country. If you oppose Israel, it is not my place to run you out of my nation. It is not my place to silence your voice. It is not my place anything. Even run you out of my party. It is not my place. You have an opinion? Great. Great. That's your opinion. I disagree with you. I'll prove to you why you're wrong. But we are a big tent party. But to be in this party, you must be a ride or die Democrat. You must. You must be a ride or die Democrat. There is none of this. We're going to turn the world over. Thank you for the support, Vicky. I really appreciate that. I really do. There is going to be none of this. We're going to turn the world's most powerful military, the deadliest military in the world, over to fascists that are telling us they're going to build internment camps for their political enemies. Out loud, saying it out loud. They're going to make being gay illegal. They're saying it out loud. They're passing bills in their own cities and states to say you can't be openly gay. They're passing bills that are telling people, not saying you can't force someone to use somebody's pronoun. They're saying you can't use someone's pronoun. They passed that bill in Florida. Believe them. Thank you, Suburban Housewife. That's why I say you people are so above the pale. You just know what the hell you're talking about. Believe them. I don't give a damn what we disagree on. And I will tell you this. I love my heritage. I do. I do. But if it came down to, I don't know, pick a country, Germany, Ireland, whatever, and you told me I can either get support for Germany and Ireland or I can turn the country over to fucking fascists. I would tell you in a heartbeat, fuck Germany and Ireland. This isn't a game, people. This is life and death on the scale like you have never seen before. If you think what happened in Nazi Germany was bad, oh, people, we are way more efficient at killing than the Germans ever were. Ever. Ever. It is an imperative. Should be the number one thing it means to be a Democrat is you will never turn that military, our military, over to fascists, ever. Thank you for the support, White Dove. White Dove, I really appreciate you. Pro-democracy all the way. Today's just Duncan. I appreciate the question there, Mark. Pardon me, Meek Rob. I appreciate that. What coffee are you drinking? I am drinking just straight Duncan today. That's it. And I apologize for the colorful language. I do. And if we disagree on some of these points, that's okay. That's okay. What's not okay is we're not going to turn everything over to fascists. So why is it working? Why is it working in England, or pardon me, Europe? Why is it working? Why did it work in England so that they cut their nose off despite their face with Brexit? Why? Well, one of the reasons why is we are an aging population. We just are. The entire world is. And the older people get, I hate to say it, but the more xenophobic they get, the more afraid they get, the more economically afraid they get. Let me tell you how bad it's gotten and why this whole fascism thing is a road to destruction. This whole anti-immigration thing is a road to destruction. I am pro-immigration. I am literally the mirror opposite of Geert Wilders. Why? Because he cannot sustain his country with his current population growth. He can't. I want you to take a look at this chart. I just a few examples here. Just a few examples here. Let me blow it up for you so you can see them. You see South Korea there? South Korea is one of the most booming economies in the world. They don't have the population to sustain it. In 20 years, South Korea's economy will crumble. It will crumble under its own weight because they don't have the workers to sustain it. They don't. The Netherlands faces the same problem. Norway faces the same problem. Sweden faces the same problem. All of our social safety nets. Every country in the West faces the same problem. We had a taste for success and the good life, and we stopped having kids. Well, Geert Wilders, let me tell you something, buddy. You're all about the Netherlands needs to be Dutch. No immigration. We need to be Dutch. Well, if you wanted to be Dutch, you should have had Dutch babies. You should have had Dutch babies, but you didn't. But you didn't. So now you sell xenophobia. Sherry Foster, thanks for the support. I appreciate all your support. I really do. These fascists just want to ban people from being themselves, plain and simple. They do. They're all anti-LGBTQ plus. They're all anti-immigration. And folks, let me tell you something. Stop shying away from this. Lean into it because the argument is yours to win. Japan cannot sustain its economy. It is falling apart. Its social safety net in Japan is falling apart before their very eyes. It's happening in real time. Italy, England, France, everywhere. They don't have the populations to sustain their economy. I see what you did there, Linda. The Dutch baby is a delicious dessert. Look it up. I see what you did there, Linda Thalman. I love you people so much. Y'all know things. Y'all know things. That's funny. That's funny. We don't have the population. Where does the population come from? If we want to sustain our social safety nets, where does the population come from? It comes from places where the people don't look like you. They don't talk like you. They don't eat the same foods as you, but they're people. You know, America was based on being a great melting pot. You remember hearing that when you were a kid? We're a melting pot. We're a melting pot. Everybody brings their culture in, and we all become a melting pot and form this American culture, which is supposed to be accepting. And that's it. Is it comfortable? No. Is it problem free? No. But who promised you it would be? Did you think it would last forever without work, without dealing with some discomfort? You know, folks, we need to bring people in, and they're going to have differing views from us, and it's going to change our countries. It is. But if you wanted your country to be the same, you should have had babies and raised them to be exactly like you. But you didn't. You didn't. You became dinks. You know what a dink is? Dual income, no kids. You have luxury SUVs, not kids. You don't get to keep your country exactly the same if you don't have babies. And you didn't. And that ship has sailed. It's over. But you sure can get an old timer to vote for you by promising them that none of this reality is going to be real for them. And that's what's happening here in the United States right now. Marjorie Trader Green is telling you we can keep America and keep out them immigrants. Linda Orndorff, I appreciate you. If the United States falls to fascism, the rest of the world will fall. You better believe it. We have been what props up democracy around the world. It will fall at the point of an American gun. It will. That's what's in this next election. That's why I'm telling Yashar Ali and Mehdi Hassan, get over yourselves. You're not even Palestinian. Stop busting up our party, which is the only party fighting for freedom, just because you don't like that Joe Biden isn't willing to destroy Israel. Let no issue divide us to that extreme. Thank you, Joe Martinez. We don't see that enough these days. Slava Ukraini. Absolutely. You know, we still have a war going on in Ukraine. We still have Russia on the verge of collapse, folks. And Geert Wilders is very pro Putin. He is. If he's able to form a government, it is going to fight tooth and nail not to support Ukraine. It's going to try to hobble. They already don't want the EU to be able to expand. They don't want to allow countries into the EU that are trying to join now. There are good things that we want to get done in the world. I stand with Ukraine also, Neverman this year. I do too. There are good things that we're trying to get done. But saying we're going to throw it all away for people halfway around the world, it just you're going to end the world for anybody. I mean, pick a country. You know, take it off the hot plate. Don't make it Gaza or Palestine. Make it any country. What country? I want to see in the comments. You tell me, what country are you willing to 100% back and destroy the world over? There isn't one for me. There isn't. I mean, I love our allies. I really do. I am grateful. We have an international audience here. We have people from Canada. We have people from Norway. We have people from Sweden. We have people from Finland. We have people from Germany. You know, I even believe we have an Italian here. I've read the comments, right? But I'm sorry. No, there's nothing I'm willing to trade to turn the American I'm too damn responsible. I will never turn the American military over to fascists. Ever. For any country. And that's what you've got a job. One more quick chart for you, and then no more charts. I'm gonna wrap this up and get to the roundtable. Philip Alfred, the economy collapses when extremism is it does. It does. You know, the Biden administration has done amazing things to foment what they call the soft landing, to slow inflation without causing deflation, without causing contraction within our economy. He's done the best job in the world. Our inflation is lower than anybody else's right now in the first world. It is. It's just lower than anybody else's. He's done an amazing job. I am not going to destroy the world over anyone or anything. Let me and folks, I know I left that chart up forever, but I just wanted it to sink in. I want you to think about that. We've all watched South Korea and its amazing economy and what it's doing and how great it is. And it's gonna die under its own weight. It, you can have your own opinions, you can't have your own math. And they're trying desperately to prevent that. This next chart is what I want you to see. This is production, productivity, worker productivity. This is what all the automation is all about. This is what all of the jobs being, you know, turned over to when they say a robot took my job, you know, from 1947 to 2013, about the middle of the last decade. Look at that increase in production. That's the amount of work one worker produces. Look at that. I mean, 5 times the production. But what they've figured out is it's not enough. It's not enough. These increases in production will not sustain your social safety net. It will not. When you get old, you will have to work forever if we don't get immigrants. It's that simple. We cannot use technology to get our way out of this. What is in your future is one hell of a lot of socialism. It is, because we're gonna have to take the profits from these companies and we're gonna have to put it back into the people. And we're gonna have to take it through taxes. They're not gonna volunteer it. Because of that chart I just showed you right there, and what these companies are trying to do. They're trying to modernize. Everything a company does is designed to cut costs and increase profit. That's what capitalism is, and it's not a bad thing. It's a bad thing when it's allowed to run away. It's a bad thing when it's allowed to run away. And we're seeing in-game capitalism here. We're seeing an aging population with not enough workers supporting the social safety net. Sure, the companies are still making money because of the increases in production, but that doesn't fix the problem for the people. It just makes a few people in the company rich, which is why we're getting this massive income disparity. People aren't greedy. Everybody here doesn't want to be a billionaire. They just want to keep the lights on and not have to worry. But these companies, man, their answer isn't to look at the big picture. Their answer is increase productivity, cut the number of workers we have so that we don't need a bigger workforce. So because if they need workers and we have fewer and fewer workers, that means workers get more expensive and that cuts into profits. That's all they see. That's the whole equation they see. They don't see big picture. That's why we need government, people, because the government doesn't just look at corporate profits. At least it shouldn't if you're not a Republican. We don't have the people. Let me say it again. We don't have the people. Going into the next 2 decades, you're going to have to see extreme socialism, which I don't think any of us want, because it's gotta be a balance. It's gotta be a balance between capitalism and the social safety net. It has to be. Peter Campbell, thank you, sir. Great response, great comment, and I always appreciate the support. When capitalism doesn't care who has to die for the bottom line, we must modify capitalism. And it's not a, and what I'm telling you folks is if you just look, math doesn't lie. We won't it's not a matter of something that we would like to do. It's just going to happen. It's just going to happen. There is no sustainability going forward without immigration. We just there are areas of the world that have high populations with tons of unemployment. We have to embrace these people. We have to bring them here. We have to endure all that means. Yes, it's expensive. Yes, it's clunky and difficult. Anytime you bring in a different culture into your own, we've seen it throughout our entire history. It's difficult integration. People don't tend to not embrace just embrace something new. I mean, hell, look at how we treat Mexicans in this country. And they're wonderful people with great food. I mean, it's going to take work. but we've got to do it. We've got to, and that's where I wanted to leave you. I want to leave you on a positive note with a job. On a positive note with a job. We've got to change this narrative over the next year. This xenophobia, this anti-immigration, anti-change, we're going to keep the world exactly as it is for you. America will be exactly the way it was. Always for you. And it doesn't have to change. Ignore the math. That's a very powerful message. Politically, it's a very powerful message. And to someone who is older, that is in their twilight years, promising them there will be no discomfort and everything's going to be okay because we're going to hurt them. That's a powerful message, people, and it works. It works. What's more powerful? Thank you. Username Jory. I have been saying this. We are all Antifa now. We are all Antifa now. That's your job. That's your job. We need to change the conversation around immigration. We do. We have to. We don't need walls at the border. We need bus stations. And we need to prepare for it. And the Republicans can't do it. They don't govern. All they do is garner power through selling xenophobia. And when things go to crap, they blame us. They shirk the blame. I'm sorry, Netherlands, you're about to see this firsthand. Wilders has no ability to govern. He has no plan. None of his policies result in anything but crashing the economy. 96% of all jobs created in the modern era, you're talking about from the 80s, late 80s on, the modern era, last half century, has been under Democratic administrations. 96%. Look it up. That's not hyperbole. We have to get away from the single issue voting. We have to get away from the single issue voting. Never allow us to be divided over people halfway around the world that in the end of the day don't matter in the long run. I know that's a harsh thing to say, but no matter what happens between Israel and Palestine, we can never be fascist. Never. We must maintain control of that military with a liberal democracy. That's just truth. I don't care how you divide it or how your feelings are. That's just truth. And going forward, we have to short circuit this whole xenophobia thing with questions. With questions. You don't want immigration. Okay. How do you want to pay for your Social Security? You want your Social Security, right? Of course you do. You want your Medicare? Sure. How do you pay for it going forward? How do you do it? How do you have enough workers? Because corporations aren't paying the taxes. They're shirking every bit of taxes there are. We need to address this head on. The math is on our side. The math is on our side. Don't be distracted by shiny objects. Don't be distracted by their hate of the LGBTQ plus. Use reason, numbers, and math. Short circuit their argument and call them out for being horrible. Philip Alapore, I really appreciate you. And I love your comments, by the way. I see your comments online also. Putin loves what goes on in Western disinfo media. Yes, he does. Philip's Canadian, by the way. He's one of our good Canuck neighbors. Philip, is that a bad thing? I've always called Canadians Canucks. Is that a bad thing? I don't want to be offensive. So, folks, we're into the roundtable part of the show. I'm done with my rant. And I hope you can see how I've tied together what is going on in the Netherlands, how a marginal party that didn't win but 38 out of 150 seats is now going to affect European policy going forward, and how that affects us and our coalition with our European neighbors. We did it by dividing ourselves. They didn't win, we lost. We lost by dividing ourselves. We cannot divide ourselves anymore. Appreciate you for keeping me straight there, Philip. I don't like to be offensive just to be offensive. Thank you. So let's move to the roundtable part of the discussion. Let's hear your thoughts. Anything that I didn't cover clearly, anything you want clarification on, anything that I can do or say, I don't care. Ask me what color underwear I'm wearing. I don't care. This is an AMA. Let's do this. Let's get to the roundtable. Throw those questions out. We didn't get to have one on the last show when I promised one. Oh, I want to tell you, we have 3 new mugs out in the Texas Paul store. I love that one. Happy holidays. And of course, we have the Merry Christmas mug, which is I love this. Is supposed to be me and Mrs. Texas Paul there with our presents and our fact bats, and you get your Merry Christmas greeting on the back. And then we have the Happy Hanukkah mug because I stand with Israel. I love this. I love the gnomes. We're going to try to integrate. Do you guys like the gnomes? We're going to try to integrate the gnomes into more cups. We are. Do you guys like the gnome? I love the gnomes. I do. So yeah, and we've got a Cyber Monday deal coming out. It's already live. Um, and I'll be honest with you, I've forgotten exactly what it is. Mrs. Texas Paula put it in the comments. Me too, Linda Lee. I love gnomes. I do. I love gnomes. So yeah, throw some good questions out there. That is always this is a great question, Catherine. People, Paul, do you think countries with dying populations will pay people to have children out of desperation? That is always one of the policies that the haters put forward as a solution that's not a solution. They always want to say, okay, we're going to pay people to have babies. That's what I mean by going forward. There's socialism coming your way, folks. There is. Whether they like it or not, there's socialism on those train tracks coming your way. A lot of it. Some of it's going to be really yeah, that they always implement policies to pay people to have babies. They do. Don't don't try to convince third party. Benny Loco, great comment. Don't waste that energy. And no labels voter is a no labels voter. We have 30 to 40% of voters in reserve. And this is what I'm telling you. You are the intelligent. You are the ones that can see how important this is. Um, we have a 30 to 40% reserve. Republicans do not. It's just demographics. It's just socially where people are. Focus on our turnout. Focus on getting our people to the polls. Do not worry about third parties. Just don't. Ignore them. And ignore anyone that tries to tell you for any issue that, oh, we're not going to vote. They're off the table because they were never going to give you their vote to begin with. If they'll blackmail you, they were never going to vote for you, anyways. All right. Let's find some more questions. Yeah, it never works. Trina 6, Quebec tried to pay people to have babies. It didn't work because Quebec is primarily French. They wanted more French babies. It never works. There's no way around the immigration. There's no way around the immigration. There just isn't. All right, let's see. Yes, ignore polls. Polls, Sherry French, thank you. Polls are unreliable at best. Oh, and I wanted to thank you for all the I wanted to take a second to thank you. Um, I waited till the Black Friday deals came out, and it turned out there wasn't a very good Black Friday deal anyways. Um, Tomorrow, I'm gonna take a look to see if there's a Cyber Monday deal. I doubt it. They haven't put that microphone on sale. I'm gonna wait till tomorrow morning, and then I'm gonna order it because there's so far has been no discount. That microphone that you guys helped me buy is the most sought after microphone there is. It is a studio quality microphone uh, that's about $300 less than your average studio microphone. So yeah, they just don't discount it. They don't. Hopefully, I don't waste money, so I'm gonna try to check on the Cyber Monday deals, and then I'm gonna order it tomorrow morning. Again, thank you for all the support and helping me buy that. We don't. Good question, Miss Martian. Why do people think that Joe Biden is still a dottery old man instead of just an old man? Uh, we don't. We love we love Joe Biden. We see the work he's doing. You know, he may not be pretty anymore. He was never pretty. Um, he may be awkward in the way he moves. That's just old, man. That's just old. What he's getting done, because let me tell you, let me tell you, being president isn't about you being Superman. It's about you being super smart enough to hire people to do jobs. You don't hire people to reward them with a free job. You hire people to do jobs. That's the difference between Republicans and Democrats. Republicans, they keep putting people in place. Look at Preacher Johnson. You think he's there because he's an effective legislator? No. He's there because he throws the right bombs for the right people, and you can't govern that way. That's what makes Joe Biden a freaking superhero. And I am so glad I voted for him. Jesse, thank you for the support, my man. Trina, I really appreciate you. I always hear capitalism only works with strong institutions to curb the worst sides. Amen. It's a balance, people. It is a balance. You have socialism and you have capitalism. They are not diametrically opposed from each other. They complement each other when a government is done right. That's just the way it is. I love Aldi's, by the way. If y'all don't shop at Aldi's, you need to shop at Aldi's. It's one of the places we shop at. All right, let's see. Let's see. We got a few minutes left. We'll do another 9 minutes of roundtable. I just love talking to you people. And please, really call me out if there's anything that I didn't cover. Sometimes I'll get ahead of myself in thoughts and I will gloss over a subject. If there's anything that we talked about today that you want me to just talk about again or disagree with me, let me know. I'm not a freaking fascist. Harrison Ford and Joe Biden are the same age. Do you think Harrison Ford is a doddering old fool? No. Mary P, you bring up Kamala Harris, and I really I want to touch on this. This is a great comment. I'm going to run a little bit sideways from what you're saying here, but thank you for the comment because it's spurring this comment. Why don't we start pointing out that it's not just Joe? It's something happened. If something happened to him, Kamala is and his cabinet are ready. Kamala Harris. I get a lot of grief because I'm harsh on Kamala Harris. Her husband I have literally hugged her husband. He is a really nice man. He is a super decent guy. And Kamala Harris is a strong woman. She is everything you want in a strong leader. She has a few problems, and we all need to help with that. One, she has a problem among women of all people. She does. There are There is either you either love Kamala Harris or you hate Kamala Harris. Let me put on my political hat for a minute. This is just facts, folks. This is not criticizing Kamala Harris. I want her to be our next president. Let me put it to you that way. Her or Pete Buttigieg, I want as our next president after Joe Biden. After Joe Biden, I'm assuming Joe Biden gets his next. No, I'm talking 2028. Um, Kamala Harris comes off. I don't know what's the right way to put it. I wasn't prepared for this subject, so I don't have a lot of talking points about this. She rubs people the wrong way. She does. She's got a demeanor that of almost self superiority. And when she talks sometimes, yeah, there you go, aloof. That's what I'm looking for. Aloof. Thank you, look here. She has an aloofness to her, which is one of those things that you either love it or you hate it. Aloof is good too. Yeah, I mean, you either love it or you hate it. But the problem is you can't have as many hate it as she gets people to hate it. Suburban Housewife says disingenuous. She is actually not a disingenuous person. She is a very warm, sincere person. She is. She's just an extremely effective communicator if you are in a board of directors. Being a politician takes an entirely different set of skills. She needs to learn to let that warmness out. You remember that just totally wholesome, unscripted moment with the young girl on the tarmac where she was talking to that young girl and she was smiling. Yeah, exactly. Great point. Kamala has a prosecutor's attitude. Absolutely. When you can see her brilliant mind work and she parses out her sentences and she comes for the most effective way to say it. But man, that genuineness needs to come out. That genuineness inside her needs to come out more. We need to see more instances like when she came off the plane wearing her chucks, man. You know what I'm saying? And the other thing she needs to work on, people don't like nasal voices, and she has a nasal voice. She needs to work on that. She does. Just saying. You asked me, brought up Kamala Harris. I'm telling you, as a Democratic political strategist, the work I see that needs to be done with Kamala Harris is putting her closer to people because people don't feel, Joe, you feel like you could run up and hug Joe if you could duck the Secret Service. You know what I'm saying? You would sit and eat an ice cream cone with Joe. Do you have that feeling with Kamala? See what I'm saying? We need to work on that. We need to work on that. We do. If she's going to be our standard bearer, we need to humanize her more. And one way we do it is with Doug Emhoff. Her husband is the nicest. That you ever had one of those people that walks into a room and everybody smiles? That's Doug Emhoff. He is. He's a hugger too. I've hugged that man. I'm telling you, he is a nice guy. He is a nice guy. All right, moving on. We got 3 minutes left. Let's get some more to it. All right. All right, we got a comment here. Just snuck by me. It's a good one. I've been reading as I've been talking to you. When you see me looking down, folks, like this, that's what I'm doing. I'm reading what you're saying. If you see me look directly into that camera, that's me trying to make a point to you, and I can't read a word you're saying when I'm doing that. It's just the way it is. That's why you see me look down so much. I lost the comment, but somebody talked about not being ride or die because they feel like they can't get everything done. Too bad. Too bad. Take the 80% win. Take the 80% win. That whole I can't get everything I want, so I'm gonna no, no, we're not turning the country over to fascists because you only got 80% of what you wanted. No. Karen Collins, he has an ankle injury and he has a back injury. He has a chronic back injury. That's why you see him. He walks very tight, upright. Anybody that has had a back injury knows that walk. You know, that guy lives with pain every day, every day. Thanks for the support, Hula Dance. I really appreciate it. Yeah, Doug Emhoff is a great guy. I'm telling you, he would be an amazing first husband. He would be a diplomatic force if he was the first husband. Yeah, Joe. Hey, thanks for noticing. Thanks for noticing. I went out and treated myself. Got a birthday coming up, so I bought me a new silver belly. I did. Thank you. That is a new hat. I appreciate you. I hope you like it. All right. Will Bill Barr be the straw for Trump's demise? What you're saying here is the straw that broke the camel's back. Yeah, Bill Barr, who's not doing time for Donald Trump for any reason whatsoever. He is old. He is in poor health. He is not going down for. He does not personally like Donald Trump. And despite all he was willing to do for Donald Trump to destroy our country, Bill Barr doesn't like what Donald Trump has done to the Republican Party. Yeah, Bill Barr is going to shank Donald Trump as many times as he can, as hard as he can. All right. Facebook user, hope he can see our comments. Maybe Mr. will have to show him these. She does. She does. She brings them up. Do want to say thank you. The Cyber Monday deal that we've got, it's actually gone live already, is 20% off mugs and an additional 10% off for repeat customers. So if you've bought a mug from us before, there's going to be a way to get an email sent to you that gives you percent off. Tom Jules. I will personally never forgive Bill Barr for what he did to the Mueller report. He lied for Trump. No problems. Yeah, absolutely. Took a report, rewrote it the opposite of what the report said, release it to the American people. Dark Star, no, you are not muted. All right. Jim, talking about Kamala Harris. Don't you think she had the temperament to be a successful woman attorney? Of course I do. Of course I do. I think she'll make a great president. I'm just talking about simply from a political point of view, running a campaign, things that she needs to do. Do not misinterpret me saying, "Hey, we need to do this to be more effective," as me saying, "Hey, I don't like that person because." That's not what I'm saying. Oh yeah. Derek Chauvin. Let me tell you something, folks. I don't mean to be morbid, but Derek Chauvin got his, and I am so glad Karma came to visit. Yeah, he had way more than 9 minutes to think he was dying. He had way more than 9 minutes to sit there and think about meeting his maker. Yeah, and he lived, so he has the chance to feel that way again. And I feel no sympathy whatsoever at all. Any human being that would literally kneel on a man's neck and kill him with as little care as Derek Chauvin did. I love this for him. I love this for him. Karma is saying, "Hey, buddy, this is what it feels like." Karen Collins, thank you for all the hearts and skulls. I'm telling you right now, we need to be ride or die more than ever. Well, folks, we've gone over a little bit. You've had great comments today. I promise I'm going to work harder on shutting up sooner so that we can have more discussions. No, nobody has been muted. Nobody's been muted. I read all your comments. If I've missed yours, the comments blow through sometimes so quickly that I can't see them all, and I apologize for not catching all of them. But if you got a great comment, it's an important comment. Feel free to put it out there more than once. Independent. Last comment. This is the one we're going out the door with. I put a lot of blame on Moscow Mitch. If they had impeached Trump on January 6th, we wouldn't have him running. Also, what he did to the Supreme Court. Absolutely right. And you need to keep that in mind. The Republicans are not an option. They are not, for any reason, an option. They had the opportunity. They knew what Trump was. They chose not to take him off the table at that point. They did it for their own selfish interests, and they will do it again. Keep that in mind. The Republicans are not an option. We have to be ride or die. No subject, no group, no people, no anything. You cannot stay home because you're only getting 80% of what you want. You have to come vote, be a ride or die Democrat, come vote and fight for the other 20%. That's what it means to be a good citizen in a democracy. Well, I love you folks. Enjoy your Sunday. It is a beautiful Sunday outside. Thank you for being here again. I love our discussions. Old Texas Paul out.